The village of Hollow Creek was quiet, too quiet. Nestled deep within a valley, it was shrouded in an unnatural stillness. The trees stood as gnarled sentinels, their branches twisted and bare. A perpetual mist clung to the cobblestone streets, coiling around the feet of the few villagers who dared venture out. Shadows moved unseen, whispers danced on the wind, and the air tasted of sorrow. Hollow Creek had not always been this way. Once it had been a place of laughter and life, a bustling community of farmers and artisans. But that was before the curse, before the darkness twisted its beauty into something grotesque. Now the village existed in a perpetual state of twilight, its inhabitants trapped in a nightmare. The tale of the curse was an ancient one, passed down through generations like a macabre inheritance. It spoke of a betrayal, a love spurned, and a vengeance that would echo through the ages. It was a story whispered in hushed tones behind closed doors and shuttered windows. A story that made children huddle closer to their mothers and strong men avoid looking in the mirror lest they see the reflection of their own mortality staring back at them.
They said that a young woman, her heart broken by a faithless lover, had made a pact with an entity of unimaginable power. In exchange for her soul, she had asked for vengeance, for the village to share in her pain and suffering. And so the curse had fallen upon Hollow Creek like a shroud. Crops withered and died, livestock fell ill, and children were born stillborn. But the true horror lay in the unseen, in the lingering presence that permeated every corner of the village, a malevolent force that fed on the fear and despair of the villagers.
The stranger arrived on a night when the wind howled like a banshee through the empty streets. He was tall and gaunt, his face hidden beneath the wide brim of a worn fedora. His eyes, when they caught the flickering lamplight, glinted with an unnerving intensity. He said his name was Daniel, and that he was a historian, drawn to Hollow Creek by its dark past. The villagers eyed him with suspicion. Outsiders were rare in Hollow Creek, their presence unwelcome and unsettling. They kept their distance, their faces etched with a mixture of fear and curiosity.
Daniel rented a room at the village inn, a crumbling edifice that had seen better days. He spent his days exploring the village, his notebook filled with scribbled observations and sketches. He visited the dilapidated library, poring over dusty tomes and faded manuscripts, searching for clues to the curse that held Hollow Creek in its grip. The villagers watched him, their whispers following him like shadows. Who was this stranger, they wondered, and what was he searching for in their cursed village?
Section 4. A crescendo of dread. As the days turned into weeks, the atmosphere in Hollow Creek grew heavier, the sense of dread palpable. Strange occurrences plagued the village, objects moved on their own, disembodied whispers echoed through the night, and fleeting shadows danced at the edge of people's vision. The villagers, their nerves already frayed, grew more agitated, their fear threatening to boil over.
Daniel, too, noticed the escalating strangeness. He documented the events meticulously in his notebook, his fascination with the curse growing with each passing day. He began to experience things he couldn't explain: cold spots in the dead of summer, the feeling of being watched, and vivid nightmares that left him drenched in cold sweat. Yet, instead of being afraid, Daniel felt strangely exhilarated. He was closing in on something. He could feel it, something dark and terrible that lay at the heart of Hollow.
Section 6. A revelation. Most unsettling. Daniel knew what he had to do. He gathered the terrified villagers in the town square. He told them the truth about the curse, how it wasn't a punishment but a parasite. The only way to break the curse was to starve it, to confront their fear.
As Daniel spoke, the air grew heavy. The symbol on the ground pulsed with a malevolent light. But then, something shifted. The villagers' fear was replaced by hope and defiance. The light from the symbol began to fade. The curse was broken. The entity, starved of its sustenance, was banished.
But as the villagers cheered, a chilling realization dawned on Daniel. He noticed something new etched into the cobblestones, his name. The curse wasn't broken. It had found a new host, his fear, and it was going to be a feast.